I'm just trying to get people out of the mindset that every hamburger place should be the same. The hamburger transcends everything. It's been around forever and it's not going to go anywhere. My name is George Motz, and I'm a hamburger expert. I can safely say that because I've spent, seems like a lifetime, eating hamburgers, researching hamburgers, writing about hamburgers. I've got books, got a couple of TV shows. I host the show Burger Scholar Sessions. And now finally, after all this time, I have my own restaurant right here in New York City called Hamburger America. I can't believe it. It actually happened. This is a restaurant. Well, it's not a restaurant yet, but it's almost a restaurant. As you can see, painting is happening now. Painting and cleaning, and it's about to be a vacuuming noise. This is wild. There's the vacuum noise. There it is. This is the sound of progress. This is progress. I call it a piece of living hamburger history. It's my love letter to the hamburger. Telling the regional story of the hamburger is the fun part for me because I'm actually able to identify why different burgers have different styles in different regions. And in the same way that Texas barbecue is very different from North Carolina barbecue, you know, a green chili cheeseburger is very different from a butter burger, for example. You look at any hamburger cookbook out there, it's all about, you know, here's a burger, we put avocado on it, it's a California burger. Which is bullshit. My mission, and I've said this so many times before, is to protect the American hamburger. There's a lot going on in here. This is the dining room in the back. We have 3 booths here. Beautiful. Upholstered in the color of American cheese. Set against wood grain, which to me is so soothing. Nothing more soothing than that. I think the bathrooms are almost too beautiful. This is the first time a wallpaper has ever made me want to eat a cheeseburger. It's not to be kitschy and stupid. The whole point of this place is to be evocative. What I'm doing is I'm shining a light on something that people don't take very seriously, or never really taken seriously. And in part because of the fast food world has ruined the image of the great American hamburger. I really feel that it is my duty to make sure people are appreciating the hamburger in a different way. When I was first discovering the beauty of the American hamburger, I felt like even the people I was going to talk to in these hamburger joints, they said, hey, what's the big deal? Why are you so excited about this hamburger? It's just a hamburger. I had a hard time trying to convince people that what they were doing was important. To me, it's one of the most authentic American forms of gastronomy. This is it. 12 stools along the counter right here. This is where all the action is. Classic hamburger joints don't use big fancy griddles and big fancy equipment. They use very basic equipment. That's how you achieve the goal of the perfect cheeseburger. So you look at history. These things have been around for 100 years. Look at these curves, man. Look at these beautiful curves. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, hamburger places like this keep closing all the time. And I want to make sure that this place embodies a piece of history that we're losing very quickly. I have 4 of my really large format photos in the back from hamburger joints. And pretty much all 4 of those are the direct inspiration for this place. The Convention Grill in Edina, Minnesota. The Apple Pan in Los Angeles. The Shady Glen in Manchester, Connecticut. The White Manna in Jersey. These are hugely inspirational to me, for sure. By the way, if you look at it, and this is very important, you're kind of inside of a cheeseburger. You've got the American cheese here. See that? You've got the brown as kind of the beef. The light brown is kind of the bun. I got this idea from the Shady Glen. You go to the Apple Pan, and you go to White Manna, and you want to sit down, you wait behind someone who's finishing. We have a nice sign here, right here, that says, you know, grab a seat at the counter, grab a stool at the counter. If you can't find a stool, you stand behind someone who's finishing or paying or eating dessert. We didn't build this restaurant for you to hang out here for 2 hours. We love you, but the guy behind you looks hungry. It's been a couple of weeks. We're so close, so close. This is very exciting. I haven't been here in a couple of days here. Oh my God. Hey, stools. Look at the stools. Woo. Check that out. Oh, wow. First I've seen these. Oh, feels good. Look at this. Wow. That's amazing. Look at the lights. They're beautiful. Oh, look at this. First I've seen of this. Those are not the right. Whoops, those are not the. That's not right. That's not correct. Ooh, that will change. Okay, well. What triggered my hamburger obsession in the very beginning was in 1994. I was in Los Angeles at the Apple Pan. And at that point, I just assumed that every burger was like, my dad's backyard burger or Wendy, McDonald, Burger King thing. And it wasn't. I sat down at the Apple Pan and I was blown away. I was first time I was ever in LA, and it felt like I was on a movie set. The place seemed totally unreal. I mean, it was guys wearing paper caps. You'd ask for fries, and they would they would put ketchup on a plate for you right next to the fries. And I didn't ask for ketchup. He didn't care. I was in and out of there in 15 minutes. I had one of the most amazing burgers, and I thought to myself, okay, this isn't actually, I've never had this kind of experience before. This exists. I felt my job then at that point was to start to seek out these places. I became obsessed with going on location. I was a filmmaker. I would go on location. I would seek out the best hamburger spot I could find. And at some point, I wanted to make a documentary about some kind of food, and I realized I'm already obsessed with hamburgers. Why don't I just do that? And I started to discover that there are a lot of great stories out there that are just right outside the mainstream. Anybody told me that, when I was sitting at the Apple Pan almost 30 years ago, that I'd be sitting in my own restaurant 30 years later, I'd say, what? You're insane. The restaurant was the next logical step because I couldn't get the hamburger musical off the ground. I tried. It's true. It was a true story, by the way. I had all the right people in place. The name of the play is called Max Lunch. And it's about a small hamburger joint that's about to be torn down. It's a David and Goliath story. The floor pattern's funny because the architect and myself spent a lot of time looking at floors and going to restaurants and looking down. And we discovered that there was a very specific pattern to most hamburger joints in America and other diners that is relative to diner and luncheonette history. If you look at the tables and the counters, it's something called linen. It's a linen formica pattern. This is something I've seen in a lot of different burger joints and diners around the country. Because of the 8 to 10% gray surface we chose, when you take a picture of a burger, it should expose perfectly. I'd spent so much time telling people about hamburgers, interviews and on Burger Scholar sessions on the Burger Show. Enlightening Alvin was one of those great moments in my life. Alvin was so genuinely excited about hamburger history. I could take all those burgers I've been making on the show. I can take the burger I've been making all over the world for years, the Oklahoma fried onion burger, and put it at a counter and build the ideal piece of hamburger history. Burger Scholar session moment that we had during the pandemic changed a lot. And they would say to me, I know how to cook now because of you. I can make burgers. I can do this. I didn't, I told you could do it. You could do it. I told you. I'm so excited they love the show, but now they get to come here, which is even cooler, I think. So I believe that Hamburger America would exist to offer not just food, but also an explanation, if you will. Hey guys, I need It's gonna be a lot of yelling going on, screaming and yelling, but here we are. This is it. This is where I'm gonna be standing. Right here. Oh God. Yeah, it feels real now. Actually, it didn't feel real until today. It's really bizarre. I mean, I've been watching it being built, but these guys have done such a great job putting the details together that it actually finally feels like my restaurant. It really does. All the places I've seen all around the world, country especially, that the most successful ones are the ones that only have a few things on the menu, a burger, fries, and a drink. When you focus on only one thing, you do a much better job than trying to focus on 100. There's 2 burgers in the menu. There's the fried onion burger that I've been making for years, and I also offered a second burger, which is a classic smash burger that I'm serving all the way with mustard pickle onion. Mustard pickle onion goes back probably 120 years. Onions being the first condiment. There obviously are some regional favorites of mine that I would have put on the menu, but I decided to skip it because we're going to do this thing called the Hamburger Heroes program. And these are people that I believe I owe a lot to because I really wouldn't be sitting here right now in my own restaurant had I not really studied them and understood why they do what they do. To honor that, I'm bringing them to the restaurant. We'll bring them in for a weekend, make the burger right here at the griddle, and then keep that burger on the menu for the month. Marty Hall from Sid's will definitely be here. I've already asked him. He's excited to be here. It's gonna be fun. I already have the first 2.5 years lined up.
Yeah, so there's like a
we're gonna count to 3. We're gonna cut a ribbon. But first, drum roll, please, Carl. 1, 2, 3. Hey! There you go. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Oh, hi. Who are all these people? What is going on here?
My name's Ed Sullivan. I'm here from Brennan & Carr Restaurant in Brooklyn. We've been in business 90 years. Definitely proud of George. Glad to see him on his terms with me where I'm not working. So I want to see George sweat a little.
I've been following George's videos on YouTube probably for the last couple years. So this was an easy chance for me to try the thing that looks really good on the internet.
My name is Luis Ortega. I came from the Dominican Republic just to try George's burger.
I think it went as best as it could. It's like, the good news is I think people were very excited, and that's the most important part. A lot of very excited people about hamburgers. I'm really genuinely excited. It's wild, right? I love doing it. I love doing it. People keep saying, you need to take a break, you need to stop. I'm like, I know, but I'm making burgers, and I look up and I see, there's a guy I went to high school with sitting there. The enormity of the whole damn thing has not hit me at all. And I don't know when it's gonna hit me. I'm sure it will at some point. But I've never been the guy with the big scissors. That was pretty cool. George Motz, Burger Scholar here. Please like and subscribe. Watch more episodes. Hit a button somewhere here. Hang on, I got a phone call. Hello? Neil, what happened? You okay?